Hey there viewers and welcome to One Step from Eden, a deck-building roguelike game by Thomas Moon King that was released earlier this year for the PS4, Nintendo Switch, and on Steam. It's gotten a lot of comparisons to the Mega Man Battle Network series on the Game Boy Advance, however, not actually playing those games back in the day, I can't properly say whether or not that's an accurate comparison. However, what I can say is that after 20 hours of playing this game the past couple weeks, I can absolutely recommend it to anyone who likes the genre. And as a bonus, it is currently, as of recording this, December 2020, in the Humble Monthly Choice Bundle, so if you can pick up this as well as a couple other games for a fairly decent price. Otherwise, it's about $20 on your multiple different platforms. Now, what I'd like to do today is just do off a single run. We're only going to do about one. A run takes roughly about an hour, I'd say, if you're doing it properly. Otherwise, it might get cut short, half an hour, 15 minutes, depends on how quickly you die. Like most roguelikes, however, you do unlock more things as you go on. You start off on this game with Saffron, who has a basic weapon that's actually fairly decent and allows you to spam your R2 and just constantly fire. Whenever you're playing her, you always have your R2 down, just constantly doing about 1 damage to your enemies. She also has a passive, her artifact, which allows her to revive. She has a 1-up. There's also Silicy, who is a snow-type character. You'll want to focus mostly on ice cards and stuff like that for proper synergy, who I've had multiple wins with. However, today, we're going to be going with Riva. And Riva's a character who's more built on tankiness, and her passive allows her to gain 1 shield every time she moves from one tile to the next. And her basic weapon is just simply a reflect, which requires you to have some quite good knowledge of the enemies and their attack patterns to properly time when you want to reflect. She has a secondary thing that you can unlock that allows her to shoot out 20 damage shots every time she gets hit, as well as a couple starting cards that synergize as well with that, like hitting yourself. But we're going to go with the basic shield build with her. And I'll explain more as we go about the game. But for now, the main goal of this stream right now is to try and get, and as you'll see, I'll be constantly moving around to build up my shield meter. Every time we move, it goes up by 1. She's a very unique class in that you're not going to be doing this with any of the others. You know, Saffron, she has an R2 where you're constantly attacking. It doesn't cost any mana to cast. Right now we have 3. But what we want to do, we timed that right, she did a little bit of damage. Not too much, but a little bit. And her deck is all about building up your shield as much as possible. Like right there, we sent out our shield, we got it back, did about 80 damage. Now what I also like to do with her is stack poison as much as we can. Now every time you clear a room, you get a card like this, and you have to choose between 1 and 3 cards. You can spell power, hit enemies, or you can conversely, if you don't want to build up your deck too big and you want to have a nice tight deck to draw from, you'll just flat out skip the rewards. Now we still only have 4 cards in our deck. We don't have to worry about shuffling through them to get what we want. And then after each floor, you choose which path you want to take. Up here, as you can see, about 4 rooms down is a shop. That's what we want to go to. We want to get some more items if we can. It's all about building up the proper synergy for our deck. So yeah, as you'll see, with her, you're going to be moving around a lot. Back and forth as much as possible. However, once we get started and we can actually get some good cards, we can be constantly attacking as well. But for now, it's a fairly simple build to go with. Right here, we have more shield. Always want more shield with her. And then every time you level up, you get another artifact or passive. Plenty of health, gain invincibility for the first 4 seconds. Kunais have a decent effect if you can get some nice passives on them. However, I think we're fine with the starting invincibility. And like I said earlier, this is compared by many people to the Battle Network games for the Game Boy Advance. However, I've never actually played those, which is a series I kind of missed out on and kind of wish I had, because they definitely seem up my alley. And I'd be very curious to see how they are exactly in terms of roguelikes themselves. Because back then, in the mid-2000s, they weren't really referred to as roguelikes. Was there a roguelike element to it that it just wasn't labeled as? Now, one of the big drawbacks for her is that when you are sending out your shield, you're down to just your health. Your shield is gone for that split second, so you better hope that you're not in the range or path of an enemy. There we go, 200 plus damage. More poison, although the 200 shield would be nice. It's between these two. We're gonna go for shield. Now the drawback of that card is that as soon as it hits an enemy, your shield's gonna go back down by 200, but for that very brief period of time, you do have an extra 200 shield. Now, as you can see, her Reflect, unlike Saffron's weapon, does take 1 mana to charge. So it's not exactly the type of thing you can spam. But if you can get plenty of mana on your character, then you won't have to worry too much. If it kills a target, heal 100 hit points. However, you do consume, and on consume that means that it's no longer in your deck for the rest of the fight. I almost want to say... You know what, that's 80 damage. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip all 3 of those cards. Gain 30 shield when you channel a spell, or gain 30 shield and a spell when you kill an enemy. You know what? We're gonna go for more shield that way. Alright, here's our shop. First shop of the match. Now, like I said, our main goal for today is to kill the Shopkeep, but to do it right now would be a little bit too soon. We want to build up our character as much as possible. So, we're gonna see what she has to offer. Poison deals an extra 20 damage. We would be able to afford that, and that's it. Now, packs are kind of like debuffs. They only last for a brief period of time. Lose 2 max mana, that puts it at 1 for 1 battle. What's our next area? A hazard. Can we do it with 1... You know what? We might be able to. I might be willing to take this debuff for that 1 upgrade. And then refresh stock 1 more time. Lose 30 spell power. I don't think that's going to work well for this build. Although it'd be an interesting gamble to take. Again, it's only for 1 battle. Well, first let's actually upgrade right here. The beam is a great thing. There we go. Double cast. However, if we do that, it's going to take up all the mana we have. I almost feel like it might be better to go for the diagonal beam 2-shot. No, you can't. No, you can't what? Tui mentioned something in chat. I'm not entirely sure what he's referencing, but I think I'm going to take this gamble for an extra 150 health. It's going to severely cripple me, but I think we can do it in the hazard room. It's going to be all about right now just making sure I can time my reflect. Just build up my shield as much as possible. Yeah, because otherwise I don't really have any other attacks I can do. Alright, come on. I hope I have not ruined this run completely. I think I actually might have. Because of her positioning, this thing's gonna hit me. Actually, you know what? We're fine. Thankfully, she hit the pillar, and the pillar is a reflect. Anyone who hits it gets that damage back to them, so it's fine. if the enemy hits it, but if we hit it, we're gonna have a bad time. There it is. And see, now those 2 debuffs are gone. 25% chance to hit twice. I'm not interested in any of those cards, actually. We're keeping it tight. As small of a deck as we can have. Alright, and a trick for her that isn't quite apparent when you first start out is to follow these green tiles on the ground. Those give you shield, which you absolutely need once she starts doing her attack afterwards, which does about maybe 300 damage. That shield will build you up so that you can actually survive it. That time she did 400 damage with that attack. So if you miss these, you are going to get killed quickly. And also, as you can see, we do have a couple of jam cards in our deck, which do cost mana to throw out. And there is a passive we can get eventually that can either reduce that cost to 1 mana, or actually give us other upgrades every time we use it. So if we can get one of those passives, we will be golden. Nope, complete miss there. And as I said, this game is currently in the monthly Humble Choice bundle for the month of December 2020, so if you're interested in picking this game up for cheap, now would be the time to do it. Alright, build that up. Alright, we can kill her now. Now, here's an interesting thing about this game. Once you beat a once you actually beat a boss, you're given a choice. You can either sacrifice them or let them live. If you let them live, they'll stick around for the next 3, 4, maybe 5 floors, and they'll give you a passive help. What they'll do is they'll either attack enemies for you, they'll give you a little bit of health, a little bit of shield, they'll do various different things. Again, I've only put about 20 hours in the game, so I'm not entirely confident in saying what each one of them does. Or, if you kill them, like I'm going to do now, then they will give you an artifact, a passive. And again, I'm not... Well, you know what? I might pick this one up. The Pyroblast. They will give you a passive. So heal 20 hit points every time you do frost damage, or we can get a single upgrade. I'm not even touching that gambling one. I have terrible luck when it comes to gambling. So we've got another upgrade we can do. And I believe I'm going to put that on shield. Bonus 20 shield, or double cast. You know what? That only increases it to a 1. We can afford a 1. That means it's now a 100 hit point, or a 100 shield item. And again, anyone in chat, if my audio's off, if it's too low, let me know. I can always adjust it on the fly. The other day I was doing it via PS4, which automatically leveled out the audio, but since I'm doing it myself manually, it may not be as it should be. So I can always up the juice on either the game audio or my microphone if need be. Heal targets for 40. Again, not interested in any of these. We haven't really had much luck in terms of cards, but that's just the way roguelikes are. Some days you'll get better runs than others. Some days you just will not get the cards that you want. Initially I was going for a poison build. I was just not seeing the cards I wanted. 3 kunai and apply fragile. Man, I'm like skipping every single card we get. I hate to do it, but I don't want to muddy up my deck. Here we go, slow enemies when poison is dealt. Or, heal HP equal to the number of spells in your deck at the start of battle. Could be nice, but considering that we only have like 5 cards in our deck, that's not much health we'd be regaining, so going for poison. And also, I haven't really been taking advantage of Riva's reflectability, which I should absolutely be doing. That was just good timing on my part. I wasn't even planning that. Honestly, I was going for the Scorpion. Alright. 4 tiles away. If it hits, gain shield. That's 120 damage. We can do that. And surprisingly, we haven't really been seeing any mini-bosses who are good in terms of giving you cards. And there goes our health. Did not mean to kill him, but I completely forgot that fire explodes. Ow. I might want to actually work on getting some health back too. Fire shots on all rows that apply 100 poison. Here we go, now we're starting to get that poison build going. I mean, we only have $139 to work with, that's not much. So here's the point where I would actually consider buying some health. It's not ideal. I mean, at this point I would be hoping for more mana, because we're still stuck with 3 at this point. Take 1 damage every time you move, which gets countered by the fact that every time we move, we gain 1 shield as well. We're definitely not taking that at this point. And we can't afford a reroll, so that's it for now. Rest well, I'll probably kill you on the next floor. Now, one passive I'm kind of really hoping for is max mana at the start. That would allow us to do a couple of spells right out the gate. Alright, there's some frost. But again, we need more shield. Shield or poison. Frost in 3 rows. You know what? I was going for a poison build. I think we're kind of going for an ice build at this point. Working with only 3 mana is kind of a detriment for us. Also, another interesting thing about this game is that the further you get in the game, the more patterns and more attacks the bosses will put out against you. It's not just extra health. They're not just more tanky. They're not bullet sponges. They actually proceed to do different patterns with their attack, which is very nice and an interesting way to go about it. As you have to learn different patterns for each time you encounter them. You can't use the same strategy every single time. Like for her, those Christmas trees will actually come back from behind you at a higher level. And we're doing actually pretty bad here. In addition to that, they also tend to speed up with their attacks as well. I don't think we're actually going to make it to the end of this run. Because we're stuck with still 300 health. We haven't managed to heal that much. I'm kind of curious if I should have gone for a different passive at the start. I think I just accidentally poisoned myself there. We might need to do a second run of this, I don't know. Now for ice, every time an enemy takes 3 ice damage, they automatically take 150 damage as well. Yeah, we're not gonna survive. Just barely. We didn't actually deserve that, did we? Alright. Find out what passives we get from her. I really need health. Increase luck by 15. Now, if I'm not mistaken, luck also increases the difficulty of the enemies. Sure, why not? We might get some better items this way. But I desperately need health. Oh no, we're instantly dead. Yeah, we had 100 poison on ourselves. Sometimes that's just the way a run goes. I've almost managed to unlock all of the items in the game, however, I still want that Shopkeeper, and I feel like the best chance I have is with Riva. So we're gonna run this back one more time, see if we can't do this. Maybe we'll get a little bit more lucky with what we find with cards. Gain 2 shield for each spell in your deck, that's fine. But you know what, we can go with that one. And there's more poison. I like the poison stack with her. Well, we didn't really need the health there, but I'll take it. 5 shield for each spell. You know, we're gonna go for that one. That stacks well with the shield at start. And as you can see, entirely different enemies every time you play. Different biomes, different strategies, different patterns. I almost feel like she's more of an advanced character, primarily because you need to learn all of the patterns for your enemies first. Especially if you want to take advantage of her reflect. There we go, there's the one max mana we've been wanting. We didn't get that last run, we did this time. We might be in a better position for this. Like there, completely whiffed on that. But, because we saved her, we get a little bit of health back. And that should be enough. Poison ticks faster. They really want you to go for the poison build. Not a fan of any of these. Go in store. 40 poison to all enemies, I'll take that. Lose 30 spell power for one fight. That's worth it. And we can afford this one as well. More shield. Shield. See, I've never taken this one. The shield decays quickly, mostly because I have no idea how quickly is. Is that one every half second? Not entirely sure. Haven't experimented with it yet. Not sure I want anything else, though. So we are going to upgrade the diagonal beam, and each time you upgrade, it's completely different. You get a different set of choices for it. Like for this time, now we're going for 20% splash damage. And you can upgrade them multiple times, too, so eventually you can get, like, 3 stacks of upgrades. They end up costing a lot more. They can turn into some very powerful items. You're almost kind of suggested to upgrade a single item multiple times as opposed to many items a single time. It all depends on how exactly you want to run it. Right. We took the debuff of 30 minus, didn't we? So that's not going to be doing much damage. We're going to be relying on poison for this. And you're not going to come any closer, are you? So trying to hit you with that isn't going to work. Just reroll. Shuffle the deck. 1 damage. There we go. Alright, now the debuff is gone. We're good. Everyone gains fragile. However, that does mean us as well, and I don't like taking the extra damage. Gonna skip all those. One more max mana. That's gonna put us up to 5. Always want more mana. That allows us to do the incredibly powerful spells later on. Had I timed that right, I could have hit him with the close range attack. He comes close again. Nope. Problem is, he goes to the back row, and my close range attack isn't going to be able to touch him. If I can wait for him and properly do this, I can do 700 damage in a single... Well, never mind for that. But yeah, it's definitely an incredibly difficult game. But it's a lot of fun to play, and this is why I recommend it so heavily. As you play more, you unlock more cards that end up showing up in your future runs. It's more than just unlocking characters. Oh, he was right there. I could have done so much poison to him. Well, I got him with that. That's enough. Alright, 1 free passive. 3 waves of poison. More upgrades. Kinda want to upgrade Smog. So here's why you want a lot of mana, because eventually you can get some upgrades on your cards that cause them to do a lot more damage, however that also causes them to cost much more. Now this thing's going to cost 5 to cast. So if we can get some mana regen, that'll allow us to do that more often. It's fine if you avoided that. The higher we can stack that poison, the better it'll be. There's a mini boss on the top. That's what I've been going for. Well, sorry to the healer, but I'm about to kill him. Could I use that health? Pass up on all of those. They do move rather quickly, so some of those attacks will miss, which puts Riva at a big disadvantage, because if you're throwing your shield, and they move just when you're tossing it out, well, now your shield's gone. Right, 80 shield back if we hit an enemy. Now, mini-bosses aren't necessarily too tough, but they do give decent items if you can beat them. And again, there goes our healer. Alright, that'll kill her. Gain 2 flow stacks when frost damage is dealt, but we don't really have anything that does frost damage, so that's kind of a useless ability unless we end up getting lucky later and can put some frost cards in our deck. But again, this is kind of a gamble passive. I'm gonna go for the gamble. Okay, 30 money isn't too bad. Now, gain 10 shield when you consume a card is great if you have a lot of jam cards. I don't think we do, so... more mana. Get that as high as possible. Alright. Bonfire, so a little bit of health. That means we missed out on that battle down there, that treasure room. But I've often had bad luck with those, primarily because a lot of the times they are DPS checks, which means you have to do a lot of damage in a very brief period of time to get the item in the chest. Gain 2 shield when you get hit. Yeah, we're re-rolling these curses. Well, I don't really use removals on this character, so that's kind of useless. We could go for that if we decided to give up some blood. But no, I think we're good for this shot. If we get her close, we can do some poison damage. Right here. Got her. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough. How many stacks of poison can we get on her? Oh. I think she's about dead now. Yep, there she goes. 1 health, really? Well, there's that one again from the last run. Don't think I picked it up even... you know what? Diamond Ring's very useful for this character, primarily because if you don't use it, that's 4 shield a second. 5 damage to all enemies, yes. The Diamond Ring is one of those abilities that you keep in your quick select down in the bottom, primarily to build up shield. But as you saw right there, because of that upgrade we had on the Poison Mist, that was a 240 stack poison. Alright, so now the choice is, do we go top for a boss or down for a shopkeeper? Always go bosses. Well, there's Fire, which is a nice ability to have. It's good for enemies that move around a lot, however... bonus 20 damage. I almost want to have this, because it's a good sit-it-and-forget-it type thing, where you throw out crystals that will explode on enemies. Kind of like the mines that I have right now. Just instantly kill our hostage. Nice. Avoid all 3 of those. Well, there's a little bit of mana regen that we could use. Flame damage applies 3 poison. Had we picked up that 1 flame ability, that would have been nice to stack with this. But I guess instead we're going mana regen. And that chest was a DPS check. We could not do enough damage to open it. Oh my god. I hate those obelisks. They just spam attacks too often. They dwindle down that shield. Very much a bullet hell type game in some regards. I'm not willing to lose 300 health for that. I mean, what we need is more health, not less. The mana gen would have been nice, but... can we break that in time? Ah, we stopped him. Perfect. Slow enemies when frost is applied. I don't think we have any frost abilities. No, none of those. 2 games in a row, we haven't really managed much good synergy. But if you can get it, it is so tight. I've had numerous runs before where I've done close to 1,000 damage in one shot because of stacked poison or stacked ice. Well, there's the frost. And some enemies are definitely a lot easier depending on who you have that you're playing. I know Saffron tends to be very tough no matter who you are. But I would like to reduce the cost of that jam if I could. Build up that poison, I think that should be enough to kill her. She moves around a lot. She just ate that, all of the poison. One single poison tick killed her. Alright, 120 shield. I'll take the upgrade. How much? We have 6 mana right now. Do we need a 7th? You know what? It couldn't hurt. Because there are some abilities, or some debuffs in the shop that will reduce your max mana by 2. So it's good to have extra for those instances. Yeah, let's increase our shield input. Bonus 20. I'll take the bonus 20. And this is why I don't often take the save hostage gain something passives, primarily because they die so quickly. I'm more apt to choose the kill hostage get something, because that tends to happen so much more. Yeah, again, use reflect. I'm not doing that nearly enough. 100 damage explosion. I mean, that's good DPS to have. Fine. Not an ideal card, but I am kind of low. At this point, I need... Again, it's the choice between boss and shop. They're really dividing it up right now. There, at least I got some health back. Let him live. Apply frost to all enemies, finally. That goes well with one of our passives. And of course, there goes the yet again, the hostage is dead. They don't live long. They are very hard to keep alive. I believe that should kill him. Now, the summons are great for a different character, which I didn't actually show off at the beginning, who gains shield every time you throw out a build object. However, not really great for this character, so... Actually, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna buy the gun turret. We're gonna grab that one. Not ideal for this build, but it can't exactly hurt to have one out in the field every so often. We need more DPS. And again, there goes the hostage. Now, one of the downsides with objects that you put out in the field is that if you're walking over the exact same time you're trying to build them, they will automatically be destroyed. So you have to time that properly as well. You can't be moving into the space, otherwise they get fragged. Telefragged. Again, nothing great. I'll take the double flow chance. Okay, so we can lose 5 defense, but we'll be healed to max and gain a little bit extra damage. The problem is that's only 130 health we'd be gaining. I mean, yes, gold, it looks great, but... not sure I'm willing to take that 5 defense down. That can really hurt in the long run. I almost think I want to take double mint. Because that does work well with one of the cards that we bought. This one right here. That means it does double ice. Start battles with full mana. This is the card I was looking for before. Now if we keep building up that max mana, we can spam cards immediately. And just like that, they're instantly dying. If I can keep the little hostage alive, which it doesn't look like he will. Maybe. We kept him alive. We needed that health. Rain down shots of frost. Again, I guess we're going for a frost build. Goodbye poison, hello Ice Queen. Which, as you recall, 3 ice means an instant 150 damage. So if they have a high chance of receiving ice damage, which is now doubled, we're looking at a lot of instant 150s. Anything that'll do passive damage or damage that we don't have to rely on completely to do ourselves is a good thing. This might be enough to kill her. Maybe not. I think she managed to avoid a lot of that ice. And she's gone. Now we're nearing a point where I think it's possible to go after the Shopkeeper. I don't want to take damage. No, why would I hurt myself? None of those. 10 bonus damage every time we deal 40 plus. So I think the next encounter we might actually go for the boss, or go for the Shopkeep, see if we can't kill her. Because that is the one character I've not been able to unlock yet, and I think with this extra frost damage that I have right now, that might be the trick to beating her. Just constantly stacking it up. Double cast, 150 shield, that's 300 shield on cast. So we're going down. We're going to go for the Shopkeeper. Let's see if we can't actually beat her this time. I love that instant 150 damage. I'm very curious. Again, I've only played this game for about 20 hours. I haven't unlocked all the cards, but I'm very curious to see if there isn't a passive that doubles the amount of damage you do from Frost. Because there's typically double damage on almost everything else. Enemies have a chance to explode on death. And we're going to go for that, because if we're going for that Shopkeep, we need as much DPS as possible. And she tends to be by herself. Alright, just keep them alive long enough, and they will give you their buffs. Whether it's an item or a bit of health. Heal 140 health at the start of every battle, but lose 1 HP every time you move. Well, I don't think I need that right now, because I'm almost at max health. Otherwise, that would be a great item to have. So we're going to skip that. I can't afford to lose 1 health in the next 2 fights. Right there. Please don't kill... No, please, don't kill him. Good. Alright. Shopkeeper's next. Now we're gonna do another structure. Why not? Doesn't hurt. We might need it. Alright, buy whatever she has first. Spend all of our money. We have a lot of money at this point. Not so much worried about losing money when we get hit, because we're going to spend it all right now anyways. Mana regen. Explosion on frost damage, well, we're doing a lot of frost damage right now. Again, lose 5 money, not concerned. Anything that has to do with losing money, we're going to instantly buy. Another upgrade. Another free mana. Sure, more frost damage. Lightning strike 4 tiles away every 3 seconds? That could be nice. No fragile. Not sure if I want another mana, because we're up to what? We're up to 8 mana at this point? Gain 20 shield when you cast Jam. I think we have a couple of Jam cards right now. We can afford one more refresh and one more upgrade. A piercing returning shot. I just made a huge mistake. I should have bought this instead. That boomerang could do 4 ice on an enemy. Because it hits, does ice, and then that passive causes another ice. And if it hits on return, that's another 2. Alright, I think once we upgrade a few things, that'll be it. Gain 10 shield, sure. No, I haven't played that one yet. That's what I was talking about at the very beginning of the stream. Mega Man Battle Network. I've heard a lot of comparisons of that game. Can't quite confirm if it does have similar mechanics or not, but I can say I absolutely recommend this game. And we definitely want to upgrade this one as well. If we can do more ice, that'd be great. No, we're not going to consume it. 25% chance to hit twice, which would mean an extra chance at that frost. Got 2 more upgrades we can do. Oh yes, double cast. That's going to do 80 things of poison now. And we have room for one more upgrade. Let's do Frost Barrage. We're very much icy build right now. Well, Piercing's not going to do anything. I guess 10 shield. Like I said, the upgrades you get are completely random, so you may get a very good one, or you could get 3 cards that you don't really care for, and there goes your upgrade. Alright, I think we are ready to fight the Shopkeep. Let's put that down and get ready for this. I have died every single time I've gone for her, because it is an absolute bullet hell. Oh god, see, right there, that does 666 damage. So you have to time that reflect perfectly. Or have a lot of mana, which we do. I mean, we haven't really done much damage to her. She started off with, what, 6k, and she has 5.5 now? Whereas we've lost 150 of our health. Almost half now. Oh my god. She is completely wrecking us. We should have had more mana regen. That's the problem. I increased my max mana. Didn't increase the mana regen enough. 9 health now. Come on, get right there. I mean, she's down to about 4k from her original 6, so she hasn't lost much. And we're dead, just like that. This is why I have not managed to beat the Shopkeeper. I've managed to beat the end boss multiple times. I beat her in both Genocide. Passive, I think it's called. Genocide, Neutral, and whatever the other one is called. But I have not beaten the Shopkeeper. She just is out of my grasp. One day. But that is One Step from Eden. Like I said before, it is currently on PS4, Steam, and on Nintendo Switch. Or you can actually go to the Humble Choice Bundle right now. It is currently one of the games for December 2020 and save a few bucks. But if you enjoyed what you saw, I definitely recommend picking it up. It's definitely worth the $20 price point. And until next time, adios.